Welcome to the BBShow podcast. Today, it's Trav, no Dustin today. He'll join in a future episode. I have a very special guest, and he's a friend of mine that I've known for a decent amount of time. But a little chunk, and his name is Isaac. How's it going, man?
All right, man. Thanks for having me. So what's going on?
Not much, except for, did you finish those errands? I just...
You beat me to it, because that was what I was going to start.
The funny thing about that joke is I literally had the thought when we were planning all this and you were supposed to come on and everything today. I literally had the thought, I'm not going to say the errand joke until the end. And I kind of let it slip during the trying to set up and everything conversation, because I literally I was gonna save it because just imagine how great that would have been. Save it for the end, and then my one last question to you in the recording is so Isaac, let me just ask you one more thing: have you finished those errands? And then you would have just died because it's literally that's just to give you guys sort of a just backstory.
That's how our friendship is. That's part of it.
Yeah, literally just SpongeBob jokes is really the main thing, but is how do we even, I'm just trying to think where do we even begin? I guess we can just begin from the freaking start. So I ended up getting a job a few years ago after I sort of moved in with who my wife is now, but it's just crazy. It's so weird to think back to these times because it feels like yesterday, but it also feels like a long time ago. I got a job at a chicken plant, and obviously I'm not gonna name where, but it just, I don't know, I don't even remember because I remember just Isaac just walking around and just doing Isaac stuff, because you were a QA, right, at the time, and
yeah, at the time, and I think you were working I guess you were sort of packing.
I was on for a good little while there. I had started the skewer line, stacking boxes and all that, and that was literally my favorite thing there. It's because I got to move around and stuff, because really standing in one spot there always just it was so bad. It killed me every time. It sucked. But
it could get boring.
Yeah, I just I don't know, my legs, they're just not meant to just stand in one spot. I get my leg. I didn't even think of that, and he already beat me to that. But yeah, it just, I don't know, from the very start, it just we would just kind of joke back and forth and stuff. So basically, we ended up hanging out and eating at Denny's and stuff like that. And we always had this kind of I think me and Isaac always had this fear of man, I don't want everyone from the plant to be there. But hey, what do you know? They're all there, and it's not everybody, but it's it was just always, I don't know, I just preferred.
Some of the people you don't want to show up, they kind of did, and then you just want we just kind of wanted it to be us, having a conversation, us two friends, and then just random people that you don't really want to talk to, but you don't have a problem with, kind of just butt in anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, it just there's so many, but I don't know, reflecting back, what are some stuff that you remember that when you think of just our friendship in general and where it came from?
I mean, I remember, like I said, I when you worked at Skewers, I was QA, and you were more quiet. And, there's nothing wrong with that. I think it was mainly SpongeBob was a big part of it. We both like SpongeBob, both like to make just dumb jokes just to pass time. Just talk about all kinds of stuff. I said that, and just some of the people that we used to work with, just they like to do some, funny stuff there as well. Yeah, and of course, sure. The Denny's and Waffle House, that used to be as I think we had talked about it, while we were trying to get ready, about how we would try not to laugh when we tried to do an order,
Yeah.
but we were already thinking about it. So, like, we immediately started laughing before we could even get the order out. So I think they thought something was wrong with us. And it was already, I guess you could call it that crackhead time, that 3 in the morning visit to Waffle House.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I don't think we
Absolutely.
fit the bill for that, but we definitely acted like it sometimes.
I definitely wouldn't have been surprised if there was some whispers about us, like, okay, these two freaking druggies over here, like, just laughing about, like, this nothing, and it's like, but I've seen so much worse in Waffle House. It's crazy.
These kids in the laughing at Waffle House, they need to get a real job.
They're MP3 players. It's like, where is that? Like, that's not there. That's not even with them. They don't. They probably threw their MP3 player away in like 2003. But I don't know, like just so many times. And I don't know when I should talk about this, but there is something that I don't even know if I've ever actually told Ashley, but the whole marina thing.
You know what? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I didn't really have anything else about that. I was just gonna say, like, we could get to that and maybe fill in some gaps before that, or just go right into it. Like, I don't really know.
So what I did actually before coming on this, because when you texted me about it, and like I was saying before, I was really hyped about it. Just because we've been good friends, like you said, for a good amount of time, and I was just really excited to talk with an old friend because I know we're both busy, and of course, we live a little farther out, so it's just fun to kind of catch up. And that was actually, I tried to come up with some topics, that I'd like to bring up, like if you happen to. And that was actually one of my main ones because I remember that.
Well, go for it, man. Tell it from your perspective.
Well, I do remember we used to go. I remember we used to go to that marina sometimes, just to kind of after work. Just kind of clear our minds.
It's kind of a like, it really is like a location that's like there's nothing else to do, like type of situation, because it really was.
But and it was nice, when we got off of work, it was later, but you don't want to just go to sleep or anything, we just
we didn't want to just go to sleep or anything, like.
We don't go to sleep like you normal kids out there.
To give you guys perspective before he continues, is like this job, like he works days now, but back whenever I worked there, we were both working nights. So this was like we'd get off at like 2 or 2:30 in the morning. So like really like, and it's crazy to think like this is back because we would like, I don't remember. Did you? Yeah, you cashed your check at Walmart too, didn't you? With me sometimes.
Yeah, with the whole crew.
Yeah, and guess what, guys? Do you remember this? Kids, do you remember this? When Walmart was 24/7, do you remember that? And so it's like, we would do stuff like that, and then it would just be like, okay, now what? And so, I don't know, like the marina...
What do we do with our lives now?
Yeah, the marina was a place, I kind of grew up around, too, because I grew up in that area, and, like, it was... it's just like it's a beautiful place to take one of your good friends that's also a guy. Like, what? No, but yeah, it's on a lake, and like there was always this or it is, I'm sure it's still there, but there's that like concrete kind of bridge that goes out to on the lake, and it was like it's a place where people fish and stuff like that. It's just like a nice, like very open area, and like sometimes it was just nice to kind of walk around. And but I'll let Isaac tell from his perspective first before I tell mine.
Yeah, I mean I agree with you completely on it. I always enjoyed going. It was just, and like I was saying before, kind of clear your mind. We just casual conversation, two friends. I remember we talked about all kinds of stuff, and not just. Like, when we were talking about the engagement, because I remember you telling me about that. It was a big thing. And there's a story, and I know you remember it, and I'll get to that in a minute. I remember a big thing we used to talk about, too, was Godzilla. Yeah, I've learned a lot from you as far as guys. That's
I've
with
learned a lot
everything.
from you.
I learned a lot from this guy. Yeah, it was nice just to walk around there, and there was nobody around. Usually there wasn't anybody around. Every once in a while we seen that random car, you know, parked there. There's no telling what they were doing. Who knows? Who cares?
There was just no telling what that car over there was doing. No, yeah.
As long as they didn't offer us any drugs, that's all I care about. But I think I do remember when you told me about the engagement. And, I remember you were really nervous about it because that's a big thing. It's a big step in life. So
Yeah.
I thought
It was still
I thought
early
it was
enough into our relationship too, and I think that's one reason that I was almost kind of hesitant. And Isaac was just somebody I was just already hanging out with, so I started to just vent to him about it, like, I'm having these feelings. Now, as like, that I just to be blunt about it, you guys, like, I'm married now, but back then I was trying to just figure out when. Like, I knew that Ashley was the one, but it was just like, all you guys that have, like tried to think about marriage and stuff like that. It's a thing. It's a thing that happens where you're just like, but when's the right time, what date, and like you kind of, because you want to be able to think back to like a good date that you did this thing, like you asked, and so it's kind of just like, I don't know, like it's kind of weird when I think back to what we went to do. Like, I gave Isaac this perspective of like, okay, you know what? I think it's going to be at the marina, but I'm not sure. And just spoiler alert, guys, it wasn't, but I'll get to that. And I was just trying to like look around, and let me clarify with you guys. This was the middle of the night. Middle of the freaking night.
In the morning too.
Yeah, so like it was a thing, man. It was just like pitch black and just like, okay, when else are we gonna like try to figure this out? So Isaac was kind of there, like trying to like, like he was saying like, I think you should do this. Like, I think you should do this, and I think like there was like, I don't know, I rather because let me see, yeah. Yeah, mine and her birthday are like 2 months apart, but like my birthday, her birthday, like stuff like that, is what I was kind of going back and forth in my mind about. And I don't know, just one night I was just like, you know what, man, if you don't care, let's go. I don't remember if we took yours or mine. I don't remember. I think you drove me down there. I don't know. But we went down there, and I was just like, this is like a romantic place, like in the daytime. And I just had that thought, like, I think I'm gonna ask her here, but I don't know like where, like, because the marina is actually this kind of like spread out place, like and so in the middle of the night we were just looking around like, where could I when I think back to how stupid it sounds, it's like, it's so bizarre to think about, like how just trying to find the spot in the middle of the night. And so that's a little context for you guys, but do you remember what happened next?
I do remember you asked me if I finished those errands.
What? I probably did, because that was an ongoing joke whenever we or down there and stuff, but
I do remember that we may have been walking back around, and it was kind of creepy just the way that lighting was. Mm-hmm. And I want to say it was maybe their security guard.
Yeah, it was.
Spotted us with the flashlight.
Yeah.
Asking us what we were doing. But luckily, I think you did have the ring with you when this happened. Yeah. And that was the way we proved it.
Yeah, because he probably thought we were doing drugs and stuff. So I was like, no, honestly, here's the ring right here. I'm trying to ask Isaac. No, I'm kidding. But I was like, no, I'm trying to like figure out where to ask my girlfriend to marry me. But we were just walking around, and like, do you remember what he said? Like, I just want to know if you remember it differently or not, what he said.
I actually don't. Like I said, I remember the encounter, but I do not remember what he said.
he literally like What did he said something so subtle. Like he just like said it so fast and then was just like done and walked away. He was like he said something along the lines of, "All right, so ready to throw your life away. I got you," or something like that. Like
Oh yeah,
literally
he
like
did.
yeah, it was literally something like that. Not his exact words. But
It was something like it, I don't know if he meant it like that, but it was something that could really give you like second thoughts at the time if you were already nervous about it. You know,
yeah.
I do remember that he did say something along the lines of that, and it was like, really, guy?
It maybe shook me for like 5 minutes, and then I was just like, I still want
So
to do this. Like, you know what I
rough
mean?
5 minutes.
Because however he sees or however he feels about marriage, how I see it is like, well, it didn't work out for him. It doesn't mean that that's gonna happen to me. It's like I was aware like before asking Ashley, like obviously divorce is this big thing. Like it happens all the time. Like people are unhappy
Yeah,
and all that. But I just knew like that's not gonna happen. But that's also why I was nervous because it was pretty. It wasn't like we had years under our belt. I just kind of knew though. I was like, I just know that this is what I want, but at the same time, like just trying to figure out when and where. Like that was the more so the problem. It's like I knew I wanted to ask her, but it was like, but where? Like it's like I don't know, you
yeah.
know. So it just I don't
Well, and you're
know.
always gonna have thoughts like that creep in the back of your mind, but yeah, like you said, when you know, you know. That's just like you said, just finding where, but you knew it was time.
Yeah. And so that was a struggle, but that is definitely a memory between me and Isaac that I just think back like I don't know, it's just like one of those things like if I think of Isaac, it's literally like that security guard
Yeah.
telling me that I space basically in his own way that I shouldn't do this. It's a great story. It's a great podcast story for one because it's just like that like of course that would happen. Like it's one of those situations like of course like we would like I don't know, he was very sus. He was very very sus
Why so
about us.
sus? Well, it was two guys in the middle of the night with a drink
Yeah, I don't blame
trying
him
to
at all.
explain that it definitely wasn't for one of us.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. It was a thing, man, and it's just funny like being married now and everything. It's like I just think back to that security guard and I'm just like wherever you are, man, but I'm
It
proving
worked out, buddy.
I'm proving him wrong right now. But it was nuts. That gives me so many ideas for this thumbnail, like a security guard with a flashlight in the middle of the night or something, like, and we're just looking all like, like we've been caught, like just like doing stuff,
It's just nice
drugs.
to reminisce on that sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know. It's also weird. I don't know if like you can say. I mean, I know that you've obviously gotten older because I'm like you were like 18, right? Like you had just turned 18 like around that
Yeah,
time. Isaac's got a few years under me. I'm 28, but he's like you're gonna turn 23. You said
yeah. I'll be 23 in June, actually.
so. Yeah, like I don't know. Like I forgot what I was gonna say about that. Like I literally had a thought and now it's gone. But
Well, like how I always looked at it, like I was younger, but it wasn't like too big of an age gap where it
no,
seemed
not
kind
at
of
all.
weird. I guess I said it's only what 5 years, maybe 5.5.
Yeah,
So like, and see that's sort of a norm. It's nothing like a sort of like a big age gap.
right. Um, like well, oh yeah, I remember what I was gonna say now. Like so, I don't know. It just like it's weird to think back of that for me because like I know like how much I've changed. And so it's just this like and even like socially like I don't know, it's like when I think back to like cuz I still have like that shyness and everything, but it's not it's kind of like just and a good example is like how me and Isaac became friends. It's literally like just talking, and the more I talk to somebody, the more vocal I become, and like the more like that's just I think that's anybody. Once you get used to somebody or whatever, you can just like talk about whatever, and be talkative at the same time. But like first impressions is always from people is like because like, just shout out to Jesse and Dylan. I'm just gonna name drop them because like all of you guys were basically like my work brothers, and so it was just
Yeah.
like, and so, I remember Dylan kind of pushing me and stuff a little bit of like, like, come on, man, like, I don't know, because Jesse and Dylan could just stand in a group of people and just talk. I just
Yeah,
like, and and there's literally nothing wrong with that at all. Like, I even talked to Dylan about that on the phone every now and then. Now, like, me and him still talk, but like, it's
yeah.
like,
They still work there, actually. I still get to talk to them when I see them. They're on a different shift, but I still get to
yeah,
talk to them.
and that's cool. And yeah, it just like, I don't know. He was just kind of like, I'm not saying it's pressuring me, but like, it was just sort of like he would want me to kind of be a part of things, and I just like am a very, and still am, and like I have like different layers of this, but like,
Like an
introvert.
onion.
Introvert. I was literally about to like Shrek, like layers. Um, you know. Now I'm just thinking of an onion like in my head now, like just sitting there.
You're like an ogre, and ogres are like, they have layers like onions.
And I definitely over the years became a more like outgoing person because like when it comes to where I work now, I almost just set it up. I almost accidentally said it, but where I work now, I have to talk to like more customers and stuff like that. But like, and the friends I've made there and stuff, it makes me reflect sometimes on working at the plant because it just like that was my first like real like job experience. Like I had jobs before that was like, like that just didn't last or whatever. And I worked with my dad and stuff a lot back growing up and like, doing yard work and stuff. So I had like work experience, but that was like the first time that like I had like, like, and you guys out there that are, have like all these jobs that like did 5 years or something, like shout out to you, but that just wasn't me. Like I put in a good 2 years there and decided that was enough because like
It's time to hang up the boots.
hang up the apron. Yeah, hang up the freaking really nasty, gross purple apron. Like that
Hang
thing.
up the hairnet and the gloves.
God, and I don't know. It's so weird to think back to that because it feels like it's not as far back where I feel like, oh, totally different person. Like, maybe like 10 years ago I'd say that, but like, it's just like, it's weird. I know I'm getting deep and stuff, but like, it's weird how we change and how we kind of grow just as people and stuff. And like,
sort of mature,
yeah, for sure. And, like, and I don't know, like, do you feel like it's the kind of the same feeling for you where it's like you think back to those times and it's almost like, I don't know, like a different version of yourself that doesn't no longer exist, or
Yeah, I could agree with that. Like, of course, there's still like the personality is still there, but like more mature. Like I definitely feel like I've matured a lot, and just in the time past, it's like you said, it's just part of it. There's nothing wrong with it. I actually am, I think back sometimes just to how much I have matured, and not just from that time, just from, years ago. And it could be good or bad, just depends on, how you go about it. But I look at it as a good thing, not just for me, but I would think you would think the same.
Yeah, for sure. And you're definitely still like, I mean, I'm technically young, but like, I mean, like 30 in 2 years. It's like, geez. But you know, you were 18 and you're still young now, so I feel like just from my experience and like going through my 20s, just like it'll keep happening. That's all. That's what I'll say about it. Is like you'll just find yourself just continuing to grow, and like that's a part of humanity anyway. And like just living is just like you look back
It's
and
just part of life.
yeah. So let us know in the comments, guys. Like how much have you changed? Just to like just to ask, because I want to know, like, any of you that actually, because we actually have like a decent audience on the podcast. Like there's people that continue to come back and listen and everything, and so it's definitely a blessing. But
Yeah, I've noticed that, and that actually kind of brought me to. I wanted to, kind of congrats, man, on the 3,000 subscribers, because it's pretty respectable. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts. Like that's another part of thinking back to working there and stuff, thinking like, man, I wasn't anywhere close to that. So it's like it's crazy. It's a slow growth and stuff right now, but honestly, but I definitely I appreciate that, and
Yeah, man.
it's a thing. Like I feel like I'm more dialed in than ever with my main channel. Like I'm more like, focused and stuff, and like I still have that issue of like work and stuff getting in my way of really growing, because if I had like no job and like but I still was able to make money to be able to do reviews and stuff, like I would be like slaying it.
Yeah.
Because like literally like more time means just more like work put into it and stuff. Like so like more time to work on it and stuff. And so whenever you have that 9 to 5 job, just like you're tired and you're just like
9 to 5 grind.
Yeah. But back then, and that's even like the weird thing about my channel for back then, like working there, like it's just so different even now. Like creatively I've evolved, and it's weird. Like, so it does kind of feel like a slight different part of myself. But like you said, the personality is still there, because like me and Isaac got on this call, we were just like making jokes like we used to. Like it's just like none of that has changed at all. So that's like
it's almost like, and we haven't seen each other in a while, and I understand, because we're both working and you move, but it's almost like you never moved. It's almost like we got on the phone and, just instant, like we had just talked the day before. It's not even like it had been that long,
Right. Absolutely.
And that's what makes it, that's how you know it's a good friendship. You could, you guys could go busy, you get busy, go your separate ways for a little bit if you, working and just whatever may be going on, and then you call, see each other, talk, and you just go right back to where you're at, like nothing changed. And then I just think that's how I knew that we had a really good friendship, a strong friendship.
Yeah, for sure. And like that's the same thing like with my co-host Dustin. Like he literally like we like, and the reason like the podcast is even called what it is because like we are so much alike. We're basically like twins, and we've always had this joke of like we're like long lost brothers. Like Mom, what happened? Like let me just ask Mom, like what happened? Like did Dustin also come out but you just never wanted to tell me? Like I mean it's literally like it's almost scary, because like I don't know, like same beard, same color of it, and it's like the same like just all that. It's just like it's weird, but like we did the same thing where like, we had been friends. I'm not going to say off and on friends, because that's like, we'd always been friends, but like we were friends that like would go months without talking or whatever, and then all of a sudden come back, or like play an Xbox and GTA and stuff together, and then like not. Yeah. And then like, it's funny now thinking back to that, because me and his friendship has grown even more, because we pretty much like talk every day now. Like he got me into disc golf. I'm playing disc golf. And, like, all this stuff, and it's just, like, it's kind of crazy to think about, because, like, there's that sort of, I don't know, it's, like, the people that really matter is who you're gonna, I don't know, I could go, like, really psychological with it, but, like, it's, like, there's that glue there that's, like, even if, like, you don't, like, if there's, like, a mutual care for friendship, like, that's what, like, because, we all know people, like, and I feel like, Isaac, you could say the same thing. We all know people that, like, you've tried to hit them up, and, like, it just, that there's not as much care in return. So,
I know where you're going. So
that whole dynamic of, like, if they return that, like, it's like that remaining good friendship. And like you said, whenever people get busy and like, just life just happens, like that's just going to happen. And you know what? It's natural, in my opinion, for people to just fade. Like I have childhood best friends that I haven't talked to in like years, because it just like, it's almost like you get burnt out from that childhood experience or something. And then you just kind of realize, like, because you change as a person, and then like the person that you are now just isn't really like attached to them, even though if they hit you up and you hit them up, you'd probably still get along, but like we're just not meant to like be friends with everybody that we've ever had in our life.
The glue's not there.
Right. It's
you
dried, it's faded, it's crusty. Like it is that. It's like that sounds so gross. Like it's dry and crusty.
But like how I kind of look at it, and this is how I feel like how my friendship would be with you. And so we may not talk all the time, but it's there. How I look at it, the best friendships never fade.
Right. Absolutely. And you know, it's like, and we're aware that like there's a lot of memories there, and so like, because I was even telling Isaac, like, because we didn't think, you know, I'm kind of doing this in a cheap format, like you guys are obviously able to like tell, so like I've got Isaac on speaker and he's just talking into my microphone because we couldn't figure out the recording situation. Like he's got like a MacBook, and OBS or Audacity can't be downloaded, and like there's just like a lot of complicated stuff.
Source code?
The source code with freaking Jake Gyllenhaal from 2009. But whatever year that movie even came out. But you know, like, but there is that plan in motion of like, you know, because the alternate thought I had is if we weren't able to record tonight, it was going to be like, you know what, let me just get you down here sometime. And the thing is like, we could still do that. Like, that's the crazy part, is because it's like weird, like when you hit people up and then like something just kind of snowballs, like, you know, because we would just end up hanging out, like but like it's funny to think now, because like I wasn't even, you know, like Ashley's parents and stuff like that, like we have our own apartment now, so it's like it would be even better, just because like do whatever kind of situation. And so, you know, it's like, it's just interesting how, like, things can just happen whenever you hit people up. Because, like, you know, Isaac was like, hey, man, like, because I wouldn't have ever, like, because I'm going to be honest, you would be one of the last, and I'm not saying, like, for my personal, like, anything against you or anything, but you definitely wouldn't have been my first thought that would ask me to eventually be on the podcast, but you did. Like, you were like, hey, like, that means like you paid attention that I even have that.
Man. Well, and you know, like I said, we don't always get to talk all the time. Like I said, because we're busy, but you know, we're still friends. We're good friends. And, you know, I remember you talking about it when you were still, you know, in the earlier phases of making, like, your reviews and your videos and stuff. But, you know, I enjoyed watching it. And it wasn't even just that we were friends. It was, I just enjoyed the content you made.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, us being friends, you know, and I'm going to support you doing it. But, I paid attention. And, of course, like I said, when you asked about the podcast later on, but even before, man, I was just hyped about it, you know, just to... People just get to listen to, you know, two friends just talk about, you know, memories, how they met, just all kinds of things.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of side note, I don't know if you even want to talk about this or not, but if like not, you can just be like, hey, I don't want to discuss anybody personal, but how's Paula?
She's actually good, man. We are going on 3 years last month.
That's crazy. That's like,
it's definitely been a ride, but it's been a very good one.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely wouldn't change for anything. And we actually have her son. Of course, he's mine. You know, that's just how it goes. It's different to get in a relationship like that, but if that's what you really want, you know, you accept it. You're happy, and that's where I'm at right now. To be honest with you, man, I've never been happier. And I'm happy to say that. I really am.
Fun little context fact for you guys. Paula was actually, like, someone that, like, I also worked with there. And you guys met through the plant, if I'm not mistaken.
That is true. And I actually sort of always had a crush on her anyway. And I think the feeling was mutual. I think we both kind of did. But it just wasn't time yet, you know?
Right.
That's the best way I could describe it is... It was meant to, obviously now I look back at it, it was meant to be, and there was some little bumps in the road, and I don't care to get, a little bit into that later, we can. But, yeah, I said, it was meant to be, just not at that time. But I definitely never been happier, man.
I feel that. I mean, there's nothing like that feeling of just like, hey, like, because, like, I think anybody kind of deserves that. It's just like it depends on, the maturity level of being able to like hold down something like that. And
Exactly.
it can be a struggle, but like all I'm gonna say is like I think everyone could tell that you liked her, because I remember you telling me, like, even from your perspective, you were saying like, yeah, I know people are kind of messing with me when I go up to talk to her and stuff, but like, you know. And I knew you did too, but I definitely never would have thought. Like, I'm not saying like I was judgmental or anything, but like it's just that thing that like I never would have thought that to happen. And the fact that it is, it's like you basically like you proved anybody that like doubted it or anything wrong. And like it's insane how life works that way, where it's like you can just, you know, like yeah, it was definitely it was a thing. I don't know how to even say that. I don't know how to say that.
Like basically, I was saying it was meant to be, but at the time, it just it wasn't time. It wasn't time for us to be together. But it happened, and how actually, I hit her up first as far as like I messaged her outside of work. And I was still, I was in the process of transitioning from a night shift to day shift, and she was still on nights. And this was actually sort of like my last shot, man, because I knew us being on different shifts. I hope you don't mind if I kind of just tell, a little bit about it.
Go for it.
Just us going different shifts. I thought, I'm not going to see her, so I'm just going to try it. You never know. And, it worked. She answered. We ended up setting a date for. It was actually at the marina.
So you guys were more meant to hang out at the marina than me and Ashley, because me and Ashley hardly ever went there.
It was actually at the marina, man. It was the craziest. It's crazy how life works like that. But
full circle.
Exactly. But it's been a great 3 years, man, and I really we've never had any kind of problems. There's always going to be ups and downs, but
for sure,
it's just this is where I want to be. She's who I want to be with. Me, her, and I'm saying our son. It's just
and Dustin's in the same situation. Like Trista is like. That's not technically Dustin's kids, but he got with her, semi-recent. I mean, it's been like a little while, but so he basically has like 2 adopted kids, and I mean, he just they love Dustin, and like Dustin loves them, and it's just like it's really a beautiful thing. I mean, like, not to get all really sappy, but it really is when stuff like that can happen, because Dustin's a good dad, and I just and they want to eventually have one of their own. So it's like, it's a cool thing. And I told him in the early days of the podcast too, I was like, I never would have I told him, I'm just being honest, like I never would have saw you as like the wanting to be a dad type. Like, I'm not saying not a dad, like a good dad, but like just that, like, I don't know, because some friends you never have that conversation with, like, oh, dad or not, like, you want to have kids or whatever, and I just never saw him that way.
You gotta be a dad or what?
You gotta be a dad or what? But, yeah, it just... It's nuts.
I mean, it's great, man. He's more of the shy type, but, there's nothing wrong with that. I let him be himself. He's a big gamer, and that's sort of kind of what he wants to do when he grows up. I support that. That's my son to me, and that's how I'm always going to look at it. It's just, and it's nice in these 3 years, just building a relationship with him, and also just watching him grow, and I will admit, I had to mature a little faster, just raising a family, but, I'm glad I did. Like I said, I've enjoyed it. I'm still enjoying it. It's just, it's a great feeling. It's always nice, it's nice to know that you got people that love you that are at home.
Yeah, for sure.
And I guess I'll get into this a little bit. You got me through some hard times as far as relationship wise, because I know you know exactly what I'm talking about.
You know, I was literally gonna ask you, like, should we talk about that one experience? But I just didn't know, like, because I kind of wanted
and
to.
we don't have to get like too much into detail. That's
Nah.
fine. But as far as just the whole ordeal, I guess you could call it. It was, it was a rough time, man. I know it was a bad decision, and today I had talked with somebody at work about that. We were talking about it, and it was a bad decision. I regret it. It's over now, but like I said, you got me through it, because I remember, things happen in a breakup, and you were just there, man.
Yeah, I mean, that's. I don't know. I just like whenever.
I'd have done the same for you. I know that.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm glad that never had to. And I'm glad that never had to happen. It's like,
Yeah.
just as a perspective for you guys, like the job that Isaac still works at, like Ashley's stepdad, which still works there as well. Shout out to Roger. Dylan always talks.
Yeah.
Dylan always talks about like how you can hear Roger from a mile away, even in the plant all the time. So it's like, oh yeah, man.
Roger,
oh yeah, Roger's a great guy.
Dude?
What's going on? Like, we and Ashley like imitate him all the freaking time. It's so fun.
Roger's cool, man. I still talk to him. Every day I see him. He's a cool guy.
Like Roger, just for you guys' perspective on just like if any of you don't like know somebody like this, just a guy that's like, he's just an older guy. He's kind of like he's definitely very southern and just very like when
he's your small town Hulk Hogan. Is what he is.
Yeah, actually, yeah. You know what? That's what it is. Like he just like everything he says. There's never a such thing as a whisper. Like it's screamed. Like it's so loud. And like that's great. That's great because like he has this confidence. He could just talk to whoever and but also like but it's not like I think people get probably intimidated or something, but it's like honestly he's like a teddy bear. Like he's just like the most just like nicest guy, like, and I've had some car trouble here and there and he's helped me out, and like it's great. It couldn't have been a better
go ahead.
It couldn't have been a better stepdad for Ashley for sure, but
he's got the greatest analogies, and I always call them Rogerisms.
Rogerisms.
Some of them are a little vulgar, so I of course I'm not going to get into that, but just the analogies he comes up with, the phrases, of course, like I said, Rogerisms, man. He's a funny guy. He's a good guy. And just working with him for a while, it's somebody that's fun to know.
Yeah. I forgot where I was going with that because like I stopped by on the Roger train there for a second. I totally just stopped after I had like a point.
The Roger train, dude.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, good buddy or whatever. Like he'll just say stuff, but I don't know. So let me see. I'm trying to think back to what I was saying there. It's what was I saying about that? Dang it! Why did I brought up Roger for a reason, but now I'm struggling.
Struggle is real.
I guess while I think about it, you got anything else to add to that?
Not that I can think of, but I do have something on a random note. Although I don't listen as much anymore, you were the one that got me hooked on your band Chevelle. Yeah, I did. I was thinking about that today too. I was like remembering that. I think we kind of had the same thing going on. I think this podcast was meant to be today. We had the same thoughts.
Yeah. I don't know. Have you heard any of them since, or has it just been like, or is that like, like back then, like, is when you heard them and that was like it?
like I said, I've listened to him here and there. I'm not as good as remembering song names.
Right.
But as far as like from then, that's definitely what got me hooked on them a little bit. And I don't listen to them as much anymore, but I still do like their music, and I'll catch myself, listening to a song or two from them.
Right. Well, I was just gonna say they have a brand new album, and I love it. So, like, if you ever have time to check that out, I actually have I got it on their website. I actually have an autographed album by them, which unfortunately is only the two brothers, the lead singer, guitarist, and drummer, because the bassist left, so they got like a new bassist coming in. But yeah. I don't know, yeah, like so many, because I remember like I was at my first Chevelle concert and I was like texting Isaac. I was like, dude, like this is like, because he knew how much they meant to me, and you were just like, it was one of those situations where like when somebody, like, it's not like, because I could talk to people, what? I could talk to people about Chevelle, like, all day long, but you had, like, because I was into it, your interest was piqued, and you listened as well, and I'll always respect you for that, because, like, some people just, how people can be, they can just fake it, and just, like, Q, Don't Fake This by Chevelle. But like some people can just be like really fake about stuff and like, I'll listen to that, and then they just never do. But Isaac actually gave him a chance, and I remember sending you Closure because I was like, hey, with your relationship issue at the time, which is funny because that goes full circle. I remember sending, because I was re-listening to Closure at the time, and I was like, dude, these lyrics go right with your situation, and you were like, dude, they do. So like you actually took the time to give them a chance, and I really appreciated that, just because, like a lot of people just, like they don't really care about what you like, and so the fact that you and I like would, I would indulge in stuff that you liked and stuff, so it was kind of just like that back and forth. And I think that's just always what made, that's what makes a good friendship, because like that, like my best friend Ryan, like we've been friends since we were kids, and like literally like that's one thing that makes up our friendship is like we may disagree on stuff, agree on certain things, but most of the stuff that we like he loves Chevelle as well, so it's like most of the stuff we like is parallel. But like we disagree on albums and which one's the best of this or whatever. But it's fine because it makes for interesting conversation. I want to hear his side and he hears mine out. And I think just listening in general is just like a really good just thing to take from, or like use. I don't know how to word this, but just use in a friendship. It just like, because it's just a part of it. Like if you have that mutual interest to somebody else for something, it's, it's just,
it helps make it stronger.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's not just like, you're just like, oh, I'm just going to like hang out with you around work. And it's fine if people are like that. Because, but like you and Jesse and Dylan were definitely different about that, where it was like, and it's interesting to think back to how many friends I did make, because I was a quiet guy, but when I did talk to, and it's funny because Dylan remembers me. Let me just say this. Let me just make fun of Dylan a little bit. He remembers me as this quiet kid and everything, but I approached him. I was talking to him because he would be over there on the overflow. You remember when they had like a side table with overflow and they'd have like an overflow person doing it?
Yeah.
Like he would be doing it. They'd put him over there. And then I'm just like stacking boxes. So in between each box, I'm kind of bored or whatever. So I would like talk to him. And like, it's almost like he doesn't even remember it that way. Just like, but that's how it happened. Like, it's funny how like two friends could just remember stuff just totally different. And, and just to let you guys know something really funny about Dylan, cause Jesse and Dylan, just context for you guys, they're brothers, and like they ended up working. Also my cousin. Like, yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah, it is.
But it's like, I don't know, it's just interesting how people remember stuff differently, but yeah, they were always there as well. Like they just had the similar interest and like hung out a little bit and stuff. But oh yeah, the one thing I was gonna say, Dylan legitly, like, I was talking, I don't know if you remember, if you know of Alex Wood that worked there as well. He was really tall. You remember him at all?
I think
Really, really
remember him
tall,
a little
dude.
bit. I know the name. I'm sure if I were to see him, I'd immediately
Well, like,
know who he was.
he also wants to be on this podcast, so it's gonna be funny to hear his perspective on things as well. But like, I joked with Alex because I said, you know what, it's gonna be really nice to get some people, like, because me and him talked about it, but I didn't make a firm plan with Isaac yet on when we were gonna do this. So like, I explained it to Alex as like, it would be nice to get someone from the plant because Dylan said no. I legitly, like, we were talking for like 2 or 3 hours straight on the phone one night, and then, like, you know, he's always talking about like my videos or like whatever, and he's kind of like a behind the scenes help type guy. Like, he, you know, he would want to be a part of it, but he wouldn't want to be on camera. And so when I said, like, well, you don't have to be in a review, why don't you just come on the podcast one time, he's like, I don't know how I feel about that. I'm like what? Like, he legitly said no. So I'm not let him live it down. But but like, because the thing is about me and Dylan, and this is how I feel about a lot of people I made friends with at the plant, is just people where we just talk. Like, me and Dylan just talk about stuff, and we just get lost in stuff for like 2 or 3 hours, and it's like, but yet he doesn't want to make it entertainment. It's like, because that's me and Dustin. We can just go on and on about stuff, and sometimes after the hour, it's hard to stop because it's like, you know, you want to just keep going.
There's just so much to talk about.
Yeah, it's just like, and it just snowballs. It's a domino effect. Like, you just go on and on about stuff, and it's, I don't know. Like, I just think that's funny. Like, I think it's funny that he was just like, I don't think so.
I'm not sure about it. That's his personality. You know, that's just what makes it better about him, man. He's a funny guy, but I think sometimes he doesn't realize how funny he really is.
Exactly.
I don't think he tries to be funny. It's just him.
Yeah. He'll just tell me this stuff sometimes and then be like, I don't know why I told you that, but you know what? It's good conversation or something like that. And I'm just like, okay, you know, I don't know, but they're good guys, and I've always appreciated them. I don't know, man. We're about at the 52-minute mark, so let me hit you with this. So with this boxing glove, no, just, I don't know, comes through the phone, I guess. So what we usually do, I don't know if you've ever made it to the end of one of our episodes, but we do recommendations. And off the top of my head, I don't really have one right now, but if you do, like, that could mean like anything, like a show you want to recommend, or like life advice. It goes like any level, like anything you want to recommend.
Watch for your kids out there.
These kids with the MP3 players, like, these guys are gonna be like, what are they talking about?
Kids have these CD players and the Britney Spears. I don't know what they're doing with their life.
Like, I would have laughed if you were like, you know what, my recommendation, just go listen to Britney Spears on an MP3 player. Like, just like, what? Like, that's so random. But you know what? I actually do have mine. Now that it just clicked. So, like, do you feel like you've got yours? Or do you need to think on it while I tell mine?
Give me kind of an idea on, like, recommendation. Are you talking about, like, shows, games, just whatever we...
Like, literally anything. Like, it can go from the smallest, like, go watch this document. Like, me and Dustin love documentaries, so we'll be like, oh, this, or this music, or literally, like, as deep as, like, life advice, relationships, any of it. You know, it could be, like, anything.
I guess, you know, just being me, kind of a sort of a gamer. I can name drop the game, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know if you still have, like, a PlayStation.
I have a PS4 and Xbox One.
PS4. Okay, cool. So I have a PS4. I don't know. Have you heard of it's a samurai game. It came out last July. It's called Ghost of Tsushima.
Yes, I have been. It's second time playing it, dude. I love that game so much.
I have beat it. I beat it twice. I'm working on the third time. That is no lie, Travis. And you know how big I am into sports. That is absolutely my number one favorite game I've ever played, and still is, man.
Dude, yes. I keep saying that to people. Like, I'm not saying that it's my favorite, but I keep telling people, like, that might be one of my favorite games I have ever. Like, I'll say this. It's at least my favorite PS4 exclusive game I have ever played. Like,
I love it, man.
It's so freaking good. Like, it's,
it's so realistic. I love the history behind it. You know, they really went in depth on trying to get everything, historically accurate. And, it's a game. They're going to do exaggerations, but it's spot on, man. And
it's when it comes to, it's like, I remember it being explained before the game came out, saying, like, don't expect these realistic sword fights. Expect cinematic samurai films.
Exactly.
Game. Like, it's like, you could just run up to a dude and do the freaking anime slicing a guy and you're still in the pose for like a while. It literally, like, there's that move where you like sprint and like you dash and just slice the dude and it's like just a freaking instant kill. And it's so like, I've tried the Kurosawa mode and I just can't because I need the color. Exactly. Like that color and it's funny because I played it the first time before I got my 4K TV and I played it in 1080p and let me tell you, like, I'll just say this about the game. I'll say this as like, this makes it my number one in some kind of level.
Spoiler alert.
Well, it's not really, but like, it is my second playthrough. The reason I even wanted to go back is because I got a brand new 4K TV, and I knew like this game's gonna look mind-blowingly good. And let me tell you guys, this is the most beautiful looking game I have ever played. Like, it's just so like,
they really put a lot of time into it, and I respect that. I agree with you 100%. The same as with my TV, as soon as I got that game, I knew it was going to look sick, man. Just the graphics, the whole game itself, it's a masterpiece. That's what it is. Yeah, for sure. There are some bugs and stuff here and there, I won't lie, but there's some moments that are like, okay, what? But, like for instance, have you ever did the, you cut someone's head off and they're still crawling around? Yes. That is the most ridiculous one that I'm like, yeah, that's a bug. But you know what? I kind of love it because I am obsessed with the end suffering, but it's so cool. Like, you like, basically, just to give you guys a context, you're a samurai, and it's like when the Mongols and stuff in real history, like, try to take over and everything. Well, I mean, they kind of did, but, like, this game is just, like, in a, like, sort of fictional, like, okay, Mongols and, like, killing and, like, pillaging and all that stuff, and you're just this samurai that survives the battle, and, like, and you're basically, it's called Ghost of Tsushima, so you're kind of, like, you're slowly becoming this, like, almost entity that they fear. Like a legend. Yes. And that's just what makes it so cool, too, because you just, whenever you, like, it's addicting. Like, whenever you nail the combat, it feels so awesome. It's just like, I don't know, because the combat still, if I haven't had enough practice in a while, I'll get back into the game, and then, like, I'm just like, I suck now. Like, it just, like, it takes a minute to, like, learn. It does. But, there's so much to it, but, like, I love it. It's like I was saying before, it's a masterpiece. I really hope they make a sequel game to it. Oh, yeah, they're going to, probably. And I also wanted to ask, have you played the online, the Legends mode? I actually haven't. If you do, we need to play it. For sure. It's and I mean, and for everybody out there, that's gonna listen to this, the game, it's just great. And like I was saying before, Travis, I'm a big sports person. I've always mainly been into sports games, but this, this game was something else. It really was something.
So was it just a situation where you had hype for it before coming out, or did you just kind of buy it like out of the blue, like, oh, let me try this out, like, and then you got hooked, or was you like hyped like I was whenever it was coming out? Because I played it at like 11 p.m. the night of release because they had like an hour early thing you can do if you downloaded it, and that was crazy.
It was actually sort of a mixture of both. I had heard of it a little bit, and I've always kind of liked the samurai, that type of thing.
Oh, yeah.
I downloaded that actually that same night, and I think I felt the same thing you did. I played it like 11 p.m. It was addicting, man. It was such a great game.
And just a phenomenal story with a lot of like that. That
was great.
It made me. I'm pretty sure. I'm not gonna spoil it for anybody, but I remember choking up on some parts, but the end definitely got me. I was like, oh my god.
Oh.
Like that whole thing was like, wow. Like this.
It was rough.
It's the type of game where you literally get hooked on these characters. So when stuff happens to people, you're like, oh no, like it's just so good. Have you seen the actor that plays Jin play the game? Like there was like a
same face, man. It's crazy.
I know, exactly same face, and he's like reacting to the game like, oh, this is so cool, like just like he's just a fan. So it's great.
I have seen that.
But my recommendation, like spending an hour on each recommendation. No, mine won't take that long, but I'll just say this, and I think it goes full circle to me and Isaac's friendship and all that. It's just, and it's probably a recommendation I've used before on the podcast, but who cares? It's my podcast. Reconnect with your friends that you've just kind of lost touch with, because you never know. I remember Isaac literally saying like, "Hey, I want to be on your podcast sometime. Can I get a spot in line?" I'm like, "Yeah, for sure."
Get me on the show.
And I was like, "Yeah, for sure." He's like, even though I knew like Isaac's not like a creator like me and Dustin, he's just a guy. Like that sounds so mean. It's just like that sounds like I'm just putting you down, but like literally, like I literally will have any, like me and Dustin, we've always agreed like we'll have anybody. They don't have to be a YouTuber or whatever. Like we've had a lot of those, but it's like, it's nice to just give some form of entertainment, and I feel like people will take something from this. Just, I don't know, touch base with people, because life is short as well, and, there have been times in my life, not to get too, like, I don't know, like...
Too deep?
Too deep, I have definitely regretted in the past not connecting with people, because, like, something happens to them and stuff like that, and it's just, I think that's one thing I try to take away from like other podcasts and stuff when they talk about their friends and just like reconnection, and like me and Isaac said, like we got on the phone and just like talked like it was normal, and and it's just nice to do that, and I think Isaac could absolutely second that.
Oh, definitely. I definitely agree with it, and yeah. I'm okay with being the guest. I don't even have to, as far as you guys, anybody can be on there. And I said, it was nice. I was really excited to be on it. Just us talking. People get to hear us talking.
Yeah,
about
just
our
shoot the breeze.
what we like. Exactly.
That's all it is. It's just you guys are just witnessing a conversation. And that's just like what me and Dustin try to make our podcast about. And, so it's a beautiful thing. But, so is there anything, you got any final words? You got it? Like, I'm going to kill you. Like, final words. Is there anything, let me just ask you like this, and you can absolutely say no, but is there anything that you want to plug that, like, maybe they can hit you up on, like, follow you, just a general, like, or do you want to, I don't know, plug, I don't even know if you have an Instagram or anything like that.
I do, actually. I actually follow your Trap Tries page.
My page? You sounded like an old person. I follow your page. My dad is always my dad's always like, so where's your episodes, because I haven't seen any on Facebook. I'm like, Dad, I haven't posted it on Facebook and like, cuz it's on YouTube. Like it's like, just subscribe, like you'll find it there. And everyone's like, where's your, like, the older people that don't know how to run YouTube, like they don't, like they just they want to see it from like a Facebook link or whatever. And it's like, number one, I don't post it on my personal Facebook really, and number two, no. No.
No. Actually, I mean, I guess if just a shout out, I mean, of course, if they want to see my face, see who I am, or just, ask questions about the podcast. I actually do have Instagram. I guess I just give my account name, right?
Yeah, just your username or however they can get in touch.
Yeah, it's actually 20 Thane, Thane. It's all just lowercase together.
All right. And that'll be in the description, guys, for sure.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Honestly, like I said, I've enjoyed being on the show, man. Whenever, you need a guest, just let me know. If I'm not busy, I'm down. I'm definitely excited. I'd love to be a guest again sometime. Whenever you have an open spot, I know that for sure.
For sure, and maybe next time we can like be in person and get some crisp audio. And plus, hey, it'll be a reason to get together and hang out. And like, I don't know how, you know what, I almost said my city name. Wow, I literally was about to say it. But I was just going to say, like, I don't know how well you know this city, but, there's some cool places and stuff, or, like, we can go out to eat or whatever. So, but, yeah, looking forward to that.
Yeah, we definitely need that. Like I said, we do need to hang out sometime. And, of course, we got each other's number. We can set something up.
For sure.
But, yeah, I'm for sure, like I said, I'm definitely for that, and of course, like I was telling you earlier, whenever you got an open spot, let me know, man, because I've enjoyed it a lot. I definitely love being a guest on the show, just talking to a good friend. People get to just hear us talk. I've enjoyed it a lot. It's been fun.
Awesome, man. Well, you guys like us, email us, tweet at us and all that, and we'll be talking to you guys next time. And I guess I'll do the see ya that Dustin does at the end. He usually does this, like, I do the outro, and then he goes, see ya at the very end. So do you want to attempt it?
Do I need to get high-pitched about it?
I mean, he is pretty high-pitched about it. It doesn't really matter. It's whatever. I can do it either way.
I'll let you do the outro to your show. Let me get a little more used to it, and then maybe I can.
All right. You guys will be talking to us next time. We'll see ya.